marathon's back on, sub 4 is still the goal. So. Today I got about 6.5 miles in and it just locked up, completely locked up, like severe pain, almost went down. It was just not a good scene. So this is rehab running. This is my first outdoor run since the disastrous 22 miler on Monday. And I'm doing 3 miles on a dirt road. My calf feels okay now. I did 2 miles yesterday on the treadmill and it was okay. So I'm getting back to it. I'm confident that I can run. Not so confident I can do a sub 4. So still hopeful, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure that my 23 miler scheduled for Sunday is completely out. I'm not sure what I'll be doing yet. So I'll have to play that by ear, see what I can do today and tomorrow, see how my calf holds up. First mile is really tough, but I am just about to finish 3 and I feel really good. I don't feel my calf at all, so we'll see, and I'll be back. Okay, second rehab run. I'm doing 6 miles outside, not for time, which means in runner language, I am not forcing myself to run, but of course I'm watching what I'm doing. So I'm prepping, hoping to be able to do 15 with marathon pace tomorrow. And we'll see if I can do that. I might have come to an epiphany that I've been doing a ton of glute activation for this posterior chain issue. And I don't think it's really a like dead butt syndrome that I actually have. I actually think it's a not using my right leg to its fullest range of motion. Like I'm not using my glute because I'm not using my hip properly. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to test that out. So we'll see how I do tonight. The run is going really well. So I think I've got the green light to go tomorrow. And if everything stays good tonight, doing 15 tomorrow instead of 23. But I'm happy to be running. Marathon still on the schedule. Sub 4, still the goal. The marathon is back on. So I just got home from doing my long run and I just did 15 miles, which was 12 miles at a steady pace with 3 at marathon pace. So it was a progression run and it was flawless. It's crazy to think that last week I was in some pretty bad pain. As you know, if you saw last week's video, I was crying and whining that I was in excruciating pain, which, it was not excruciating. It was pretty painful, but like I've calmed down since then and I made it through. It was fine. But I took it very easy. I took a couple of days off because my calf was in a lot of pain. And in some ways I still feel it. But it took 3 days and then I could load again and I could do calf raises right away, but I could not do soleus calf raises. So those are the bent knee calf raises. So it was definitely my soleus or where my Achilles attached to my soleus and the muscles, the junction where it attaches, was in some pretty serious pain. So it took 3 days. I did some rowing. I started back up and only did like 1 3/4 miles on the treadmill just to keep it light. Then I did 3 miles outside, which I've put on, and then 6 miles outside, and I felt pretty good. I could still feel my calf. So today I was not sure what was going to happen. I did a couple things different. I went back to my Hoka Cielos. So I switched to the Saucony Endorphins a few weeks ago because I thought I probably would need more stability later in the race, which if you know the difference between Endorphins and Cielos are awesome for propulsion. They're both carbon plated shoes and Cielos are really great early miles. My fear was that when my form starts breaking down late in the race, that the Cielos probably weren't going to be the best option for me to hold my form. So I thought, you know what? I've run in the Endorphins, shorter, medium to long distances up to 13 miles. Maybe I should start trying them on longer runs to see how they do, because maybe they should be my marathon shoe. They're a little flatter feeling, not as propulsive, not what I'm used to in the Cielos. So I wore them. And then the calf started, and I thought, okay. And my first 20-mile run in the Endorphins, I came home with black, super painful big toes. Like my big toes, especially going downhill, were jamming in the front of those shoes. So it took a couple days for my toes to settle down. They were pretty painful. But I thought, okay, I need the stability. So last week's 22-miler that flopped was also in the Endorphins. And coincidentally, the calf issue was coming on, which now in hindsight, it's not the shoe's fault. It's my form. It's this posterior chain. But clearly the two things together were not my body and my form and what I'm working on and the Endorphins were not working together. So today I just said, you know what, I'm feeling okay enough to try the 15 miles. We'll see if I can do the marathon pace, based on what happens. And I'm going back to my Cielos because I don't know if it's a placebo or they're just that awesome, but went back and I felt great. In fact, I had to slow myself down. I was supposed to be doing about a 10-minute mile pace and I went out like doing 9:18, 9:30. So I'm like, okay, I got to slow it down just a little bit. And I did well and I held on and I fueled like clockwork, everything exactly as I should have. So my feed order is stuck with FedEx for 2 weeks, so I don't have my precision fuel. I fueled with carbs because I had to, and I had Morton caffeine, and I used a Nervitz drink because I always take 8 ounces of water with me if I have to carry. So I took that just for a little extra carbs, but also fluid and salt stick, and I did great. I kept the final 3 miles at marathon pace. In fact, faster than I was hoping. I was hoping to hold between 9 and 9:05, and I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, but I did. I did a 9:02, an 8:58, and an 8:53 was my mile 15. So I did it. So marathon is back on. I'm feeling good. I needed this for confidence, and I'm not saying that my sub 4 is off the table. I'm hoping that I've got things figured out. It definitely is a range of motion issue. It is definitely, hip flexion and extension. I have not been doing it properly. And I think that is a big part of what is going on. And when I let my, hip at my pelvis lock up and freeze up, I just basically drag and throw my foot forward, and it does not work. Clearly, that's not how you run. It's not efficient and it hurts. So my glutes, my glute max and my glute med are a little on fire. And I think it's actually a good thing because it's like, oh, hey, we're working here versus, my hamstring and my calves and everything, you're just kind of, winging it as I go. So I might have figured some things out. So if you're having an issue, posterior chain, whatever, maybe that's it, pelvis locking up. I've always had issues there. So that is the run. That's what happened this week. We're back on. I might do a longer run again next week just to get another in, another up to 15, maybe 16. We'll see, even though next week should be moving into tapering. Today was supposed to be 23. I did not want to push it though, because I have been doing not huge miles, but my impact load has been really quite high. So since the start of March, I've done 16, 2 18-milers and 2 20-milers, and the impact loads were 3 to 4 miles higher than my actual miles with all the hills in my area. So like my 16-miler was almost 20 miles in impact load. So that is probably another part of my quick fatiguing, and like I just burnt out. My body was just like, you know what, things hurt and you're not doing it right. So I definitely have the fitness. I'm definitely there. I didn't need the 23-miler. I just need the endurance late in the race. So here's hoping for a sub 4. We're still moving forward. That's the end of week 15. I've got 3 weeks from today is the Sugarloaf Marathon. So we're going for it. Marathon's back on. Sub 4 is still the goal. So we'll see you later this week for week 16 and moving into taper coming up pretty shortly. Keep on running.